Hey, hey, I'm going to give it a second because sometimes there's a little delay with this going out to all of the platforms and doing all the things, but I know some people will be catching it on the replay. So, welcome in. I am feeling so good today. It's Friday, the sun is out here in Atlanta, and I'm just vibing today. So I decided to jump on live with you guys and just chat about a few things. I have a topic, but I also have things on my heart. So this is the topic. We're going to get into it. But throughout, I want to share some things too that are just on my heart to start to include in the things that I do. So if this is your first time here, welcome. You are in for a treat. My name is Kirsten Allen, first of all. I'm a corporate contracts expert. And a little bit about me so that you know you're in the right place, listen to the right person is I worked for two Fortune 500 companies. I'm an ex account executive. I've sold over $16 million B2B. So I know a thing or two about how to get a contract. Okay. That is what we talk about over here, but it goes so much deeper. But that is the core of the work that I'm called to do, which is really our forward vision. Our 3-year vision is to be the company that is the bridge and conduit between small business and corporations. We serve both so that y'all can get together and make some magic, right? And so I'm so excited for the work that we get to do and where we're going, and that you are a part of it, whether you decide to come in and be a client or just within our communities. I'm welcoming you in, giving you a virtual hug, and saying you are in for some treats, okay? Um, I so this topic came to me today. Well, not came to me. It's been something that I've been talking about for this week on my social media because I'm actually doing some market research. Because I believe, as I just shared with that 3-year vision, a lot of what we're looking to do is going to be in some spaces and in some different ways, right? And so I have been doing these interviews as a recommendation from my mentor to really kind of dive more into how I need to show up with the expertise that I have to solve the problems of today. Okay. Because it's important to solve the problems of today. What was the problems a few years ago or for different people at different stages could be absolutely different now. And that is totally relevant to the corporate space and how things change and shift in the marketplace. We always want to make sure that we're showing up with the problems of today. And so as I was exploring that, one of the things that kept coming up is this idea of, you know, hey, I want to be able to get into these spaces where I'm able to do 6-figure contracts. I'm able to do, $1 million contracts. There are people doing, I'm in a government contract community now. There are people doing those opportunities for not even just multi millions, hundreds of millions of dollars are flowing in these spaces, right? And I know that I'm called to serve the people to get into those spaces because that's where the true impact is going to happen. And it's going to take a certain level of, ability to and process in order to be able to do those things. And it's what I did in my career and what I was able to do successfully before transitioning out. And that's a part of what we're going to talk about in this particular live. So come on in, grab whatever you need, your notebook, your beverage. We're going to have a good time. So, this $100,000, and that's just a number. I want to be really transparent with you guys and say that these numbers really don't mean anything, right? It could be $100,000, it could be $250,000, it could be $1 million. The process is the process is the process. Whatever you run the play with and decide to package and position yourself as, what industry you go in really determines, what you can command. But the process is the process. The same thing that you could use for $100,000 contract opportunity is the same thing that you would do sales, lead generation process wise for a multi-million dollar opportunity. Literally, the only difference is going to be how you explain what you're doing. You may have a few layers of additional conversations you might need to have. You might be bringing in people to support. So all of those logistics are going to shift. But the bread and butter of finding the right people, having the right conversations, and having the right language does not change. So everything that I'm sharing as a part of this community, as I said, can be used in many different elements. I used it as a corporate salesperson to close multi-million dollars in sales. So it can be used, and it can be used in many different ways. So I just want to make sure we are level set on that the numbers are truly arbitrary. The process is the process. Me as a strategist and being in this lane, I've seen different things and different ways that this can be set up. So the numbers is really just to get y'all looking, but it don't mean that that's where it stops at all. Like, trust me, the process is the process. All right. Anyway, so let's get into this. Why I say that for most people who are in this space, right? I'm talking specifically to the person who wants to do contracts because, well, let me go back. They already have this person, the person in my mind, we're going to call her Sarah. I don't know why that name. I was just talking to somebody a moment ago and they were asking me about my ideal client. That name came to mind. So Sarah already runs a thriving business. She already knows what it's like to work with corporate. She's already been in these spaces before. So it's not that she wants to start working with corporate. My person already has had a taste of it and they want to figure out how to do more of it. They already have a successful business. They already have accomplished a lot of things. They just want to figure out how to diversify into this space. And that's where I stand. And so with those particular people, my group, my people that I want to serve, my Sarahs, they are already well aware that they have these spaces, but they're not tapping into them. If I think about a client that I actually currently have, Christina, she's very similar in this space, right? So she has done a ton of different things in the corporate space. She's actually working in a university now and has a lot of contacts and experience there. And one of the things that we've been doing in her calls is just mining through her network to see, okay, who are the people that you have? And how do we put together a plan of attack on how you're going to get them on conversations and figure out where the opportunities are? My people actually don't need to do a whole bunch of cold stuff. Like, you already have networks, you already have a LinkedIn presence, you have things that show you as the person who's doing this, right? And so where I come in is to be more of that strategist, to be like, okay, I'm looking to see exactly where your lowest hanging fruit are, and then give you the structure and strategy that you can go after it. So when you think about your LinkedIn network, when you think about your in-person connections, when you think about, people that you meet at events, like, you literally have opportunities everywhere. You've probably seen, opportunities coming through your inbox. Maybe you've had to pass them up because you haven't ever had everything set up, or maybe you were focused on a launch or whatever the case may be, and you didn't have the time or the process to dedicate to bringing it to fruition, right? You know that. You know all the things that it's going to take to get it together, but the missing step or the gap is, and why it doesn't get done, is because you don't know or have a system, a process, or even the way to empower your team members to handle this for you, right? And so every day that goes by where you're not tapping into that network, where the person said, hey, write me back, or reply back with your capability statement, or give me some ideas of topics that you cover, or, explain to me how you do this particular work. And maybe you slowed yourself way down. Maybe you talk to them and this person is exactly who could be that person to write that next contract, but maybe they weren't ready to move right then, right? And then oftentimes, if that doesn't happen, you might just kind of go back, right? Well, they weren't ready to move now. I've got this thing going. I've got this launch. I've got this retreat. I've got this event. I got to focus on this. And I'll just circle back to them at some point. But do you know, in between that time, there probably been many opportunities that have crossed their desk, opportunities that you could have been a great fit for. But if you're not top of mind, if you're not, if you haven't even done the follow-ups or the things out there from those conversations that you had in the past, it's gone on to somebody else. Now, you don't need the money. I get that. I totally get that. You don't need it, but you do desire for more leverage and for more margin in your business, right? You do desire to be able to have a contract that literally is the same as, depending on how you set things up, it could be one or multiple offers or one launch that you do, depending on how you set things up, right? The corporate contract creates leverage. It creates margin. It creates the ability for you to go on that sabbatical and not have any issues, which you may already be doing anyway. But again, you want to do more. You see this as an ability to, we're all looking to grow our businesses, right? But this is like the next level. This is that okay, when I do this, I know 6 months down the road, I could take, that next sabbatical. I can do 2 sabbaticals now. I can do my month off for Christmas and I can do 2 sabbaticals during the year. And my contracts are putting me in a good place to be able to do that. And I can just allow my regular business operations to go as normal because all of this is set up for me. So that's kind of getting into the forward pacing and the picture of why this all even matters. But that's the importance of why I do what I do. I want people to feel that margin increase. I want people to feel that leverage increase, and not in an incremental way, and not feeling like, hey, well, I got to, do more ads. I got to do more of this. I got to do more events. I got to, like, no, you don't. What if it was just one more conversation with the people that you already have in your network, that already have budgets, that have needs, that already know, like, and trust you to some degree, but just don't know exactly what to tap on you for, or how you could be of value to their organization. There is a need. And where I believe that the magic in what I do and what I pride this company on is being that intermediary of, like, there's a need of these corporations, there's a desire of small businesses, and how do we fuse together to create this beautiful partnership that benefits so many people? When you tap into an organization, yes, there is obviously the monetary benefit of it and being able to create that leverage and margin. But think about all the people that are inside of those organizations that need exactly what you have to offer. I know that's kind of soft. I know y'all probably like, I don't know. That might be landing with you. It lands with me because I know the power. I know I've been inside organizations and have sat in trainings or workshops and been completely unlocked and transformed because this person came in and talked on whatever their topic was, right? So I understand the feeling of being the recipient of the person as well. I have so many hats that I can wear in this. And so I know how important that could be for someone like you or for someone like I to show up in these organizations with the brilliance that we have, and not only change their work relationship or their work behaviors, but their personal behaviors as well. And that impact is needed in these organizations. So it's not just about, oh, well, this opportunity passed by and, I've got other things going on. That's great. But remember that the message is needed in more than one space. The message is needed in more than one space. The purpose is called for more than one space. Your vision, your dreams, your goals, your 5 to 10-year plan, I'm sure, involves getting in spaces like these for the impact and for the leverage. So 3 things that I'm going to give you to get this done today, right? Like, go ahead and get it done today. And if you like, I can't even do this, then I'm going to give you something else at the end. But I want to make sure for those who are like, okay, I'm going to, let me tell you what it is. I'm not afraid to tell you. So, okay, I was making sure that y'all could see this. The first step is going to be that you want to go through and audit your network. So you want to see who's who, where, what events have you gone to recently? What conversations that you had? Have a list of people that are your ideal decision makers that you've already connected with. Hopefully they're on your LinkedIn profile, in your network, in your inbox, wherever it may be. Do an audit. Then from there, you're going to need to create an angle. You're going to need to create an outreach campaign that includes your capability statement. So if you're still doing that capability statement, I'm gonna need you to get that done like ASAP. Okay. Not to say you can't start marketing, you can't start having conversations without it, but you need to go on and get that thing together. That's super simple for you to be able to get that together so you can feel confident in what it is that you're doing. And if you're still trying to figure out the languaging piece, that may be where you need to get support. Okay, so auditing your network was step 1. Step 2 is going to be the outreach. So once you have your list together, then you're going to want to think about, okay, what is for this particular person? How can I make them the hero? That's one of my favorite questions that I like to include in our discovery call process is, how can I make you the hero? If this person is, in HR, if they're in leadership development, what is it that you add to the table that they would care about right now? What's going on in the corporate marketplace right now. I could tell you so many different things, right? Um, especially with, stress and burnout and people like layoffs and all these things are happening. These all affect employees. Even the stuff that's going on in the political space, it all affects how you show up to work. Anyway, so knowing that and being able to have that unique spin that you're going to put on how you address that. How are you going to help them make more money, keep more money? Which most of us is going to be working with their human resources, their human capital. Others, it might be marketing. Others, it might be specific. I just spoke with someone today, and she's in the financial and accounting space. That's a moneymaker right there. There is going to be several different niches that you can leverage, and I don't say niche in terms of like these pretty statements that we create. I mean, like there are pockets of organizations that you could just literally blow up in because you solve a specific need. Like in talking to her with finances, for example, you're probably not going to go to Apple and, pitch a finance, like pitch accounting services. Unlikely. Not to say it's not possible, but I wouldn't necessarily waste my time trying to figure out how to navigate all of that and who's who. And maybe there's a foundation or there's a specific department that can, like, I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole. Instead, I would do like she's doing and like we talked about today. I would work with those like technically small business. We got to also understand and know, and I know most of you listening to this might already know, there's a huge degree to small business. Like the online stuff is at the very, very low end. But, for her in particular, businesses already doing like $10 million, $20 million, they're at a certain place, but they need that financial structure. They might have one person or might have had one, CFO or whatever the case may be as they got started. So more of like startup, spaces, but still plenty of money to be able to invest in what is needed. And that's still technically, I would call it enterprise, but that's still a corporate client, even though they're technically a small business. Because when we think about it, and there's so many different numbers that go around, but I believe it was last year, the number was like at $38.5 million and under would be a small business. It always changes the designations with the SBA. But yeah, so businesses under there are considered small. Those are still corporations. Some of these companies that we have admired and bought from, especially when they were starting up, which is the whole thing of startup, they started in this space. That's still a contract. Like the money is the money, right? The money is the money. So as long as you know how to navigate the corporate landscape, how things are set up, who you need to talk to, the positioning that you should have, and find your pocket where you can just kill it, who cares if it's not Apple? Like the money is the money. Who cares if it's not, one of these other big companies? If they have the 100K to sign the contract, if they have the 7 figures to sign the contract, then let's do it. Now, in some spaces, obviously it would not make sense. They probably wouldn't sign, a 7-figure contract if they're only making $10 million a year. That's probably, a bit of a stretch. But again, there's this strong, long myriad of spaces that you could tap into that are still untapped, from technical small businesses all the way up to the ones that we see, to universities, to nonprofits, to school systems. Like opportunities are literally endless in this space to get 6 and 7-figure opportunities. My school district that's here in Atlanta, they have like was it 1 billion? They got like a $1.3 billion budget. And they spend money on leadership development consultants every year to work with their teachers and their professional staff. They got it. Like they got it. So it's important to even think beyond just the ones that we know, just the ones that we kind of see around, and know that even the ones that we may not even know their names right now, or we may not think about, oh, my school district. Yeah, they got money too. So I would spend more time looking at how can I, in that my earlier example talking about like finances, yeah, that's still a great opportunity, but again, it's not going to make sense in certain spaces. But for her, she found a really interesting niche, and we're going to continue, to talk through this more, that it's like they have it, stick with them. They have the need, they're willing to outsource it. That's your people. Once they go beyond a certain level, okay, then they may move on. But there are going to be these pocket of people who get to this point where they've grown enough, they've got employees, like this is startup energy, but still a good space. And now they want to get things a little bit tighter. That's where you come in, and you just continue to rinse and repeat in that lane and watch the magic happen. So, what did I gave the two. I got off track getting into how important this is, but I talked about auditing your network. Then I talked about going through and creating your outreach campaign. And then you're just going to book these meetings and conversations. So you got to have a process for how you're going to do follow-ups and what that will look like, ensuring that it's very conversational. A part of my process and why it works so well, why we have people who come to us and be like, this person said that they never respond to these emails, but they responded to me, and why people are closing contracts in 2 weeks, and why people are, getting leads instantly in 21-day time periods with us, is because the way that we do outreach is not sending a pitch. It is not these cold canned spammy messages at all. It's an open door for a conversation. People still want to be connected with. People still are open to have conversations that don't seem transactional, right? To be able to solve problems. People are looking for partnerships. If you don't take anything away from this, people are looking for partnerships. So kill the pitch. Instead of pitching an offer, pitch a partnership. Write that down. Don't pitch an offer, pitch a partnership. That will win every time. People are looking for partners who actually want to partner, even in corporations. And when I say partnerships, I don't mean like this, I don't know, it's all types of crazy stuff going on. I mean like supporting them in their goals. I mean, being someone who comes in that's not just like, here's my thing off the shelf and I want you to buy it, but like, hey, tell me a little bit more about this. I know, from some of my research that this has been something that most corporations are facing, but how does that play out in your organization? What do you feel like a solution would look like? What have you already tried? When you think about your first line or your second line manager, what are they looking for you to produce this year? How can I partner with you to make sure you rock that out? They ain't doing that. I'm telling you, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. And that's why most people, when they do get in the room and have these conversations with these corporations, it goes nowhere because it's all about them. It's all about their package thing. They don't know exactly how to translate what they do into corporations, and they're not approaching it as a true partnership. So when you're sending emails or you're getting your team or you're getting somebody to outsource it, it's important to ask that question. Like, how exactly do you structure your outreach? Like, are you just copying and pasting and sending the same things over and over again and hoping, one day it's going to land? Or are you really looking in detail at how this particular organization is a match for what I do and positioning that in the email and positioning a partnership? It takes more time. It's a quality over quantity type of thing, but wouldn't you want something more like that coming in your inbox versus, hey, how can I get you 50,000 appointments on your calendar and like, so people are over that. I think they always been over it, but especially now with more people doing those things, it's like, okay, I want to see and hear. I'm specifically thinking about one of my clients and a message that she got from a lead. The lead said, I could see like you actually cared when you sent this email. And the interesting thing about it, yes, we have a framework and a process. So there is a bit of structure to it, but there is this nuance. Like when I structure my, I call it a guide. I don't like to say scripts. But when I structure it and give it to clients, it's got highlights where I'm like, insert this. And I show them how I go in and gather the data needed to make it feel like we customize this message just for them. That's what makes this all work. And so if you're the type of person where you're like, if you can get me the process set up and you can get me the information that I need to feel confident in, hey, this is what I'm doing. And I don't mean confident in terms like you're confident in what you do. You already know that. But I'm talking about confident speaking about how it translates into corporate in particular. Because it's one thing to know what you do, especially if you've been in entrepreneurship for a while. It's one thing to know what you do from an entrepreneurial standpoint and be able to speak to that because you got that messaging dialed in and clear. It's another thing to take a step back and be like, okay, in the corporate arena, today, 2025, how do I present this? That is the key to unlocking the opportunities that are right here in your network. This is the plan for more leverage, for more margin in your offers, in your model, in your business model, and as it pertains to your future 5-year goals. So I'm super excited about this. I have one thing to share with you today if this resonated with you. So you have those 3 steps. You can go run that play, audit your network, do an outreach campaign, book calls, close deals. It's really that truly simple. But if you're like, yeah, I know it's simple, but the time has got me stuck, right? I know the things that I need to do. I've seen the things that I need to do, but the timing has me stuck. Then I want to make an invitation to you. And I'm super excited about what we're doing as we move into this space of, again, being that main go-to in between small business and corporation. You're going to hear me continue to say that because that's the brand that we're creating. But I want to invite you into our experience where we take this on for you. Yes, that is right. And manage this process. So essentially, you will come and tell us everything. Give us a day, tell us it all. What it is that you're an expert at, what the vision is for corporate partnerships. What have you already done? What opportunities have been amazing? How can we go and recreate those? Show us your network. What exactly do you already have in the pipeline that just needs a little bit of rekindling? And you give that to me and my team. I have a lovely team behind me that supports clients in this particular offer that we're doing. And then we will build those outreach campaigns for you. And all you need to do is show up. That's all you need to do. Show up in your gift, do what you do, go close your millions, right? Make it do what it do. And our job will be doing that back end and ensuring that your business is set up for these opportunities. So if you think like your capability statement, ensuring that you have that language that is crystal clear to what I'm seeing going on as I'm in these rooms with Coca-Cola, with BMW, with these large organizations, and I'm hearing exactly what their pain points are. And when I look around, I'm like, wow, where are the folks that are positioned to solve these problems? It is you all. So bringing that aspect in to get you set up for these opportunities, and then we will take on the process of doing the outreach heavy lifting for you so that, again, you can show up, have the conversation, close the deal, and deliver. That's our goal. So that's just high level. Of course, there's a lot of details that go into it. We just had a client that onboarded into this in January. And so we have 3 more spots left for the year. Now, once we get a wait list, some more spots may open up. But for right now and for the foreseeable future, we have 3 spots available left for the year. If this is something that you've been looking for, where you're like, I need someone who gets it. I need someone who has a process, who knows what they're doing, who can hit the ground running. I can give them the information and they can get things going. Then this is something that you want to be a part of. All you need to do is shoot me a DM. I will send you the link to get on my calendar so that we can discuss if you qualify. We do have specific qualifications for this because we want to get you results fast. So this is not for everyone. This is for the person that is already set up, has a successful business, and already set up in terms of you're in business. Like you are consistently bringing in cash into your business. You have an arm of your business that's B2C that's running very well. It's a well-oiled machine. Now you want to figure out how to grow the B2B arm. And you want someone who's a strategist and also has the level of execution to be able to get you where you need to be. That's where you are going to get with us. Okay. So if you're interested in having a conversation to see if you are a good fit, we would need to first book a call. I have some questions and an assessment that I'll run through with you to determine if it's a good fit. If so, we'll move forward. If not, we will discuss and address it there. Okay. And if you feel like, hey, I don't really know if I would fall into that, but I know I need support, book the call anyway, and we will walk you through the assessment. And we have other things that we offer as well. And so if something else is a better fit, we will be happy to make that invitation to you as well. Okay. So I've enjoyed speaking with you guys. I'm so looking forward to what we are doing in this season. It's so many good things coming up, and it's going to be just a great opportunity and a great time to be connected for what we're doing. We're bringing in corporate partners. We're going to be doing matchmaking. We've got, events and all sorts of things coming up on the horizon. So this is the time to get yourself set up. We got if you take December off, we got about 6 months left. So it's time to hit the ground hard in terms of getting things in place so that even if the next opportunity comes through referral or through a network or something that you're in, you're set up and ready to go with the process. Your team is trained. So let me also mention this too before we jump off, is that as a part of the work that we do, team members are invited. So if you're like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this all on my own, I'm going to need to pull someone in, they can come and be trained by us on this process to do it on your behalf as well. And that comes in the various levels of offers that we can definitely walk you through on the call. So again, if you like, I need to get set up, I need to get things together, book the conversation. You can DM me. The link is also on my page as well. KirstenJAllen.com, work with Kirsten. You'll be able to see our testimonials. You'll be able to get a feel for the clients who've worked with us so that you can understand, how we roll, and we can set up a conversation for next week. I've opened up my calendar. And so I'm looking forward to speaking to whoever this is the dog whistle for. I just got a feeling that it's you. And I'll be seeing your application come through on the calendar so that we can chat about what this would look like. But it's time for the delaying, the waiting, I'll get back to them, they weren't ready to go, all of that. Let's just go ahead and dead that today, because I've got a solution. I've got an understanding. I know where you are. And I want more people closing 6 and 7 figure contracts. That's another goal for us. We want more people on the 6-figure and 7-figure contract wall. And so we're going in, we're figuring out who are the people that are led and assigned to us to be able to make that happen, and who can we get down in the trenches with and start to get out here and make these connections on behalf of and close those deals. So is it you? Is it you? Is it you? All right. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. I'm going to continue to enjoy this Friday. I got a couple of more things that I need to do, but I'm ready to enjoy this Friday. And I know that this has been a blessing for who is supposed to be a blessing for. And if we will be having a conversation in the near future, I look forward to it and to introduce you to the rest of the folks who help me to run this amazing vision. All right. So you all have a great weekend. I will talk to y'all soon. And y'all be blessed.